Lucy, a young girl with long brown hair and bright blue eyes, sat in her bedroom playing with her dolls. She was contented as she pretended to be a princess and the dolls were her loyal subjects. Lucy smiled as she made them dance and sing, laughing when they fell down or tumbled around. Lucy became so absorbed in her game that she didn't notice her parents fighting downstairs. Lucy's parents' voices became louder and louder until Lucy could clearly hear them. She stopped playing with her dolls and listened intently. Lucy's mother lamented, "You never take time out for us." Lucy's father said, "I'm doing this for us so that we can have a good life." "But what about our lives now?" Lucy's mother inquired. "What about Lucy?" "I'm doing this for her too," Lucy's father declared. "So she can have a better life than we had." Lucy's parents continued to argue, but Lucy could no longer hear them. She had put her hands over her ears and closed her eyes in frustration. She wished the argument would end so her parents could be content once again. Lucy's father broke into Lucy's room, his face red with anger. "This is your fault," he bellowed back. "If only you weren't such a bad girl, your mother and I wouldn't be fighting right now." Lucy felt overwhelmed. She didn't know what to do. "I'm not a bad girl," she declared. "Yes," her father shouted. "You're the worst daughter a parent could ask for." Lucy began to sob. She didn't want her father to be angry with her for what happened. "Please," she replied. "I am truly sorry." Her father ignored her pleas. He carries on yelling at her. "You're going to stay in your room until you learn how to be a good girl," he bellowed. Lucy's father had locked Lucy in her room and left. As Lucy lay there wailing on the bed, overwhelmed with fear, she didn't know what to do. She felt helpless and alone. Lucy lay in bed, sobbing. She didn't know what to do, she felt overwhelmed with fear and loneliness. Soon after, her father returned to her room. He was still angry. "I told you to stay in your room," he shouted. Instead, she stared blankly at her father with eyes filled with fear. Her father took hold of her arm and pulled her up onto her feet. "You're going to learn how to be a good girl," he said. He raised his hand and struck Lucy across the face, causing her to cry out in agony. Lucy's father repeatedly slapped her, even after she begged him to stop. After what seemed like an eternity, her father finally stopped hitting her. He pushed her to the ground and left the room, leaving Lucy alone and grieving. Lucy's mother entered the room and saw her husband hitting their daughter. She gasped in horror as she ran to Lucy for comfort. "Stop!" she shrieked. "Stop it now!" Lucy's father turned to face his wife with an expression filled with anger. His face looked contorted as he spoke. "This is none of your business," he replied. "This is my business," Lucy's mother declared. "She's my daughter." "She's a bad girl," Lucy's father declared. "She needs to be punished." "No," Lucy's mother replied. Lucy's father took a step toward his wife. "Never again," she replied. Lucy's mother stood her ground. "I will talk to you however I please," she replied, "and we both promise not to hit our daughter again." Lucy's father exchanged a look of disdain with his wife for a brief moment, before turning and departing the room. Lucy's mother helped her up and hugged her tightly. "I am deeply sorry," she said. "I should never have allowed him to do this to you." "I adore you, Mommy," she whispered back. "I love you too, baby," Lucy's mother replied. "And I won't let him hurt you again." Lucy's mother picked her up and carried her out of the room. "We're leaving," she declared, "to a place where he can't find us." Lucy clutched onto her mother, thankful that she was safe. Lucy and her mother packed their bags in the middle of the night, hoping that her father wouldn't find out they were leaving. "I'm scared," Lucy responded. Her mother calmly assured her, "Don't worry. I'm here with you." Lucy and her mother left the house, getting into a car. As Lucy looked back at the house knowing it would never be seen again, Lucy felt an overwhelming sense of loss. "Are we going to be okay?" Lucy inquired. "Yes," her mother assured her. "We'll be just fine." Lucy held her mother's hand tightly and shut her eyes, feeling scared but knowing her mother would protect her. Lucy and her mother drove away from their old life. Lucy looked out the window as city lights faded behind them. She felt scared but also excited, knowing they would soon be in a new place where they could feel secure and contented. "I'm so relieved we're leaving," Lucy exclaimed. "Yes," her mother replied. "This is a new beginning for us." She understood her mother's words. This was a new beginning and Lucy was ready for it. Lucy and her mother arrived at their new home. Though it was a small house, it felt cozy and welcoming. Lucy took one look around the place and smiled. She knew this would be the perfect fit for them. "This is ideal," she exclaimed. "We're so glad you like it," her mother replied. "This is our new home." Lucy hugged her mother with gratitude. She was eternally thankful that she had taken her away from her father and knew that Lucy would never forget what her mother had done for her. "I adore you, Mommy," she replied. "I love you too, baby," her mother replied. "And I'm going to make sure that you have a happy life here with us." Lucy smiled confidently. She knew her mother would keep her word, and Lucy felt safe and secure in the arms of her parents. Lucy and her mother stood at the window, admiring the sunset through its vibrant hues and soothing sounds of birdsong. Lucy smiled. This new beginning had come at last and she was eager to embrace it with open arms. "It's beautiful," she exclaimed. "Yes," her mother answered. "And this is our new home." Lucy turned to look at her mother with gratitude in her heart. For all that she had done for her, Lucy felt truly grateful. "Thank you," she replied, "for everything." Her mother smiled. "I love you too." Lucy smiled. "I adore you too, Mommy." Lucy and Laura hugged tightly, knowing that Lucy would never be alone again. Lucy and her mother at night discussing their future plans. They talked about getting new jobs, making new friends, and starting a new life together. Lucy was eager to take on these possibilities and believed that they would both be content in their new home. Lucy expressed her eagerness to begin their new life together. "Yes," her mother responded. "I know we'll both be content here." They hugged each other tightly, and Lucy knew that she had found safety and love. She was eager to begin a new chapter in her life knowing her mother would always be by her side. Lucy and her mother began a new life together. They obtained new jobs, made new friends, and settled into their new home. Lucy felt contented and confident that she had made the right decision to leave her father behind. At last she felt safe and loved. "I'm so glad we left," Lucy exclaimed to her mother one morning. "Yes," her mother replied. "This is truly the best thing that has ever happened to us." Lucy smiled. She knew her mother was right, this had been the best thing that had ever happened to them. Lucy felt safe and loved, with a bright future ahead of her. Lucy and her mother reflected on their journey. It had been a long one from when they parted ways with Lucy's father, but they had both come out stronger on the other side. Appreciative of their new life together, Lucy knew they would never take it for granted. "I'm so relieved," Lucy exclaimed, expressing her joy at having made it. "Me too," her mother replied. "I love you, Lucy." "I love you too, Mommy," Lucy replied. They hugged each other tightly, and Lucy felt safe and loved for the first time in her life. She knew her future would be bright with her mother by her side throughout everything. No matter what comes her way, she will always have someone there to support her. Lucy and her mother looked forward to the future together, knowing that although there would be difficulties ahead, they would always have each other by their side. Lucy and her mom's strong bond would carry them through any hardship that came their way. They were thankful for it every day. "We both know we will always be there for each other," Lucy assured him. "Yes," her mother replied. "And I am so thankful for that." They hugged each other tightly, and Lucy felt safe and loved for the first time in her life. Her future looked bright, and she knew she could always count on her mother's support to guide her along the way. Sure. Lucy and her mother looked back on their journey. They had come a long way since leaving Lucy's father behind, yet had grown stronger as a result of it all. Lucy and her mother were thankful for their new life together but understood the importance of never taking it for granted. "I'm so relieved we made it," Lucy exclaimed. "Me too," Lucy's mother replied. "I love you, Lucy." "I adore you too, Mommy," Lucy replied with a smile. They hugged each other tightly, and Lucy felt safe and loved for the first time in her life. She knew her future was bright, and her mother would always be by her side no matter what happened. Thanks for watching.